Hello, this is BCAR, and welcome to Operation Forest Spider. This is after action report for Forest Spider that occurred on 3rd February 2018. This is round 2. I am serving as Squad 3 Bravo FTL with the Auto Rifleman Kit. It's an RPK and no optics, as usual. This was a cool operation. There's basically 3 points we have to establish fobs on, and as we go on, we'll talk about where squad leaders were and their rather, the distance from combat, relative distance from combat, based on who ends up surviving as squad leader with the kit and who ends up not because they get run the fuck over. Oh yeah, language warning, by the way. Yeah, so each squad was 2 ARs, 1 LAT, and 1 medic. Out of 9 people, 2 teams of 4 with a squad leader, independent element. Command had an AR assistant with them, and I think Command was a squad leader himself. So there are 5 individual elements. Command moved with Squad 3. 1, 2, and 3 are going to be Element A. Element B is Squad 4, which had a pretty unique mission. But I don't want to tell you about all of the original plan. Here is the original briefing.
The plan is as follows. Squads 1, 2, and 3 will be moving in a giant platoon column up the east side of the map, staying hidden for most of us, using the, probably if we can go the east side of the road, that'd be preferable, but the chances are we're going to be on the west side of the road using the depth blade there and the bottom side of the hill. The plan is to get up to this staging point right there. At the same time, Squad 4, Tedesha Squad, or Special Forces Squad, is going to move to Fortress and stage at Fortress. He's most likely going to move along the west side of the map, staying hidden from ammo. Once we are set, we're going to move to assault both of these points marked with red fob markers. At the same time, once we get our fobs down, once these squad leads get in, get the fobs down, we're going to pull out and we're going to move to our exfil location with the red fob mark at the southeast corner of the map to Almo.
That's generally the plan. It's a pretty good plan. I like the idea of splitting the group up, but keeping an oversized force on one end while having a squad that is underpowered. Sort of, make the enemy assume that we are 2 equal groups. And that's kind of what the idea was. Squad 4, the B element, would end up moving to Fortress and lay down a base of fire, and their point would be actually in that forest to their southeast, which is totally coverable from Fortress in a variety of different ways. It really sucks for the Op4 in this situation, Mill, because Mill has probably thinking that Ammo Hill is a more optimized location to hold because it covers more than 1 point at once. It also is a pretty central point to the map because it is the high ground between that and more south of Ammo Hill. It's pretty much the high ground that you'll want to cover with some sort of 360 security. But you could put an independent element there, separate from your element at Hilltop, and you'd have a pretty good idea of where everything was. So, moving on, we're going to go ahead and deploy here. And at this point, I'm going to speed up some of the action because we are just moving along the road here to the north. Just like the original plan, we'll speed it up until there's a sort of a deviation.
all clumped up. We gotta space it out.
Bravo, get in the
Be on the left side of the road here or the right side?
All right.
Alpha's on the right. Bravo on the left.
At this point, I think I'm in the correct space. I'm on the left. And then I hear a call for follow the rest of them, and then I hear this.
Where are you going, guys? Pay attention.
Are we on the left side of the road or the right side of the road?
Left side. And we're moving up.
Alright, we're on the left side.
Guys, check your map.
Muff offers a correction, and then he clarifies his correction.
Like, do you want everyone east with squad lead? Is that what you want, Krista?
And at this point, squad lead decides to ignore me for about a minute. And I assume that I'm doing everything correctly. I'm proceeding up the left side. So at this point, I'm pretty much thinking about my cover front. I'm giving an order, go to tree to tree. And then people are now moving tree to tree with my fire team. I've got the AAR, so I don't move all the way front. I see the road. We're coming up on the road right on the other side of this driveway. I decide to hold up there.
We're holding the rear security.
There you go. All right. Cool. Hold this. Hold this. We're good. We're good. If 0 for 200. 0 for 200. X and scroll wheel.
Now at this point, I check my map real quick, and I realize we're holding rear security, so I crouch down. I'm looking at the ridge ahead of us. There shouldn't be anyone here yet, but I go ahead and order everyone to get behind hard cover. At this point, I order Panda to be our rear guard, so he stays back and flashes up front. I think got Panda directly behind me that I don't see. Using the free look and move it around here too, just trying to figure out what's going on. Then I hear we're moving out. 3 starts moving up the hill. I hear commands saying they're going to move, so I order my guys across the road. We go ahead and start falling in behind 2. And at this point, I want some sort of clarification on what we're doing for real. So I ask. You want Bravo behind 2? And no response. So, mic check.
We're gonna move up.
Good.
Good.
Safe in the knowledge that my squad leader has definitely decided to ignore me. We just fall in rear. We're moving up this ridge here. We got a pretty nice pace going. I'm not really looking to my left because I'm just trying to get my guys in order. I have a problem with my medic who I've assigned to be rear. We get pretty close to skylining right here, and I try to tell my guys to just go down the hill. We're keeping moving forward. At this point, I haven't heard anything about Squad 4. I don't even know anything about Squad 1 or 2, potential contacts that they're seeing. 3 is definitely trying to figure something out. He's watching the left real close. So at least he knows what he's doing. FX is moving his fire team all the way up. They're just trying to keep up with 2, it looks like. And at this point, a fire team from 2 is intermingled with us. I'm kind of sort of confused as to how fast we should be moving. I tell my guys to try not to sprint. So we are moving along at jogging pace. And at this point, we haven't taken contact yet. I'm looking over to my left, and I'm thinking it's going to happen probably pretty soon. I tell my guys to look over there, and then as soon as we get to this hill, we start taking contact.
I see him. I seen him up on the hill. 308 for me.
Hit the dirt.
Down.
Down.
Slowly find a tree.
I saw a head and it was moving right to left up there.
No firing.
Yep. Right up there.
Let them start
Push
firing.
west. Push west now. Push west now.
Get up. Across the road. Alright, so here we get the orders to go across the road. Command tells us to get really across the road, so we expedite. I realize I'm leading the element, sort of. Not really wanting to because I have the AAR. I take a knee right here at this rock. Get some cover north. And I tell my guys to push up the hill. Command is still moving with us, and he tells us to expedite. So I'm sort of thinking, okay, I can run here. We still got cover to there's supposed contact northwest. So I'm telling my guys to keep pushing, sprint if you got it. Here I'm telling them to put a tree between them and 300. I'm telling them to face that way. And now we're getting more commands from 3. From tree to tree.
Once you get on the ridge, then you start pushing north towards the contact.
And here we're scouting the ridge line. I don't see anything at first, and I say that much locally. And then I decide to go ahead and go. We get a report that they may have fallen back at this point, but we don't have any concrete evidence. So I'm just telling my guys, hey, 330, go this way. I'm trying to support squad leads left. And I know that contact may have they may have just booked it. So we may have a chance to get to this ridge and put some fire down. Panda, want you facing southeast.
We're digging in here for a little bit. Let the rest of the team move.
Bravo. Prone up to the ridge line, but watch yourself.
Riflemen, don't forget your sandbags. Those are for your ARs, okay? Riflemen, get those sandbags set up for the ARs.
Northwest. I got a contact.
Rifleman
Eyes on,
here,
eyes
master.
On, 2-1.
Engage. Watch tracers.
Strokes me, strokes.
And at this point, we're engaging to our northwest. There's multiple callouts, 311, 320, something like that. There's several callouts for different directions. I get one of my riflemen to build me some sandbags, and I use that to deploy. I range at 300 or 400, and I start trying to fire back. I'm firing back at commands tracers to my right. I'm firing back at my squad leads tracers, and at some point during this confrontation, we start taking. We don't really know, but we start taking fire from the southwest, and we lose our squad leader at this point. Find cover. Southwest.
Taking a lot of fire.
I call out the bearing, and then I'm looking southwest. I'm moving southwest. I'm trying to get to this ridge line, just trying to figure out what's going on, see if I can see anyone, see how close they are. But I realize they're not that close, so I'm calling my fire team over to the ridge, and then I hear this command.
Right up.
Right, stop pushing south.
And now that I've heard FX, say, start pushing south, that tells me a couple things. I don't notice that he disconnects, but we've lost our squad leader at this point. And I'm pretty sure we've lost him to enemy fire from the southwest. So I'm telling my guys to get over here. I order a fire team down, and then I start moving down there myself. And at this point, we start getting a lot more fire. We start taking accurate fire once I order Master to move up. And then I sort of prone here, and we start exchanging fire at this point. We've held this area for a little while now, and we keep returning fire. When I see tracers, I ask one of my squad members to talk me onto a target that he sees with some, it's a rock with some people behind it.
Down and left. Couldn't see those tracers. Down. Just hit left and then you're on.
Get too crazy. I just need you to occupy that hill for a little bit. Let's you get to you. 3, we're
FX is
back
down.
soon.
Hold fire, hold fire.
Actually,
Bravo FTL taking
3,
3.
are we in a good spot?
They're in the village. They're on one of the points. They're on D2,
course we're not.
3, can we push off this?
We need to push off this. Let's push off back and try to regroup at 2.
I don't see any movement up there anymore.
Otherwise, we're going to have to push way south.
Maintain this 3 now. 2, I need you to reinforce 1 on that ridge.
Alright, we're staying here for now. Find targets, call them out in local. At this point, I have no idea where the contacts are. I know they're contacts southwest, like 240-ish, because they fired at me for like 2 minutes straight. And I know that command, platoon has targets to their northwest. They're firing on hillside, or hilltop rather, from here, which is kind of crazy. I join in, fire a few bursts. I have the rest of my guys keep a guard on the other directions. One of my squad mates comes with me. Ultimately, I don't realize that none of us are really keeping tabs on the southwest, and not that we could really tell, but at this point they were flanking us, and we're about to get totally destroyed, and command ends up getting fragged here in this engagement.
Sorry, B, this is some long-range fire. I'm gonna need to rotate some of your guys in once we're low on
Alright,
ammo.
we're gonna go to
keeping
your
their heads up. One's able to move in.
your
Four's
northwest
doing
side.
Good work. Don't
Yeah,
unsee.
there's
We're
not a
doing
lot of
work.
room here,
They may
so
not see
you should
us.
probably go
We're
Joseph
doing
on the list.
Hey, we're taking fire. Guard strike south. Fire south. Fire south.
You want us to push? Two's ready.
Man, we're taking fire south.
Can you lay down fire? I start pushing.
At this point, we just totally get jumped south, and we don't have much of anything. And now I know S3, or I know platoon is dead. So I get on the radio. I order a retreat because there's no way we can hold this with the amount of cover that we have, and we are losing people at this point. I imagine we're losing more than just command. I look at my map, and yep, nobody's freaking here except for my few guys around me. We get to order the whole position that I can't really obey without letting something out there. So I report that we have the squad south of us, and we're trying to find something to hold, but don't expect much. And at this point, there's only at this point I'm not a squad leader. I get hit right here, by the way. I get pinged over there, and I'm telling people to fall back. I'm telling people to get down the hill very shortly. S4 moves out, and so the Bravo, or not the Bravo attack, but the element B is moving out to attack, and I order my squad out, and then I report that we are in fact moving out to command. Ultimately, we're going to move up here to this hilltop at E2, keep at 9. And sort of support the flank. We don't really have a lot of people. We could probably make an attack, but not against, the enemy had all the initiative in the world, and we were just sitting there. We really couldn't do much. The only real move would be the only real other move would have been to move northeast, or maybe move direct or occupy enemy's position after they moved out. But at that point, I wasn't in command, and I wasn't about to order people across the open into up a hill that we knew was potentially occupied. Now we're getting command requests that we get on their hill and cover south. He initially says southwest. I amend that to the whole south. I started ordering my guys back. Little bit of confusion as I notice platoons. I guess it's a sergeant or something like that, but as far as the role of a platoon, but platoon's assistant is still there. He's actually dead. So at this point now I'm telling people we're here, we're going to cover southeast. At least we're going to cover southeast. And I figure that everyone in the squad covering that direction, because of course S2 at this point is going to be leading an attack, or not leading an attack, they're going to be suppressing for Squad 1 to attack the objective D23, the area D23 rather, as Squad 4 have moved through, and they're pretty much getting ready to assault Hilltop, while Squad 1's gearing up for, or is now getting fire from this group of EI. They're pretty much shooting into Squad 1 and Squad 2's flank, so I order my platoon to return fire, range for 300, range for 200 and fire. I try to get a rocket out there, but I figure that's probably not the best thing, so we go ahead and add fire while Hilltop and Village kick off.
Alright, we should go now. Schmitty, you ready?
Medic, fall back, move right.
Schmitty, you ready? Yep. Suppress.
At this point, S4 is pretty much at the walls of the compound at Hilltop, and they're moving in. They're doing a kick-ass job all by themselves. And S1 is moving out across down their little hill towards Village. They get stopped on part of the way. S2 ends up trying to support them as best they can. It ends up not working out well for S1, who goes down in the middle of all that. Ultimately, S2 will join in, but it raises an important point as far as squad leader kits, because you have to have the squad leader kit to lay down the fobs, the radios, in the game. And in the operation, the prerequisite is not different. So at this point, we only have 2 proper FTLs in the game remaining. Now that my squad is dead, command is dead, and 1 is gone, it's just up to 4 and 2. So eventually 2 joins the assault.
Actually, one, I'm gonna come down here with you. We're all gonna push together.
Here I ask for contacts, and we go around the horn talking about how the enemy is moving to our right to left, which would put them really close to our east flank and on that road over there. However, nothing is really going on. They're not pushing south. I guess they're expecting us to push into them. Of course, that's not ever going to happen with the strength that we have. And then we get this report from 2.
Command's 2. Squad lead down.
Now, without knowing, I assumed that Squad Lead 4 was not SL, or I forgot, but I misunderstood the chain of command at that point. It should have been Squad 4 now leading as platoon command acting, but it didn't end up that way. Squad 2 kind of just casually asked what was up, which was, I guess, cool. Squad 4 reported in first because they were in contact at Hilltop. The next point they were going to do is securing Village, putting a fob down there on their way to 2. I reported the southeast contacts that we've been hearing, seeing tracers from, reported they were moving right to left, which would be, towards the east. But we didn't have contact with them, so it wasn't a constant contact sort of situation. But, hey, Muff, I need you to start looking at the road due east. At this point, I'm telling my guys, I'm trying to start, get them to look more to the east, maybe northeast, trying to hold the road behind us. And at this point, 4 comes on the horn and asks for reports from us, from 2 and 3, because technically he is in command. 2's going to add suppressing fire on village as for assaults. 3, we're pretty much in reserve at this point. We're holding position. We kind of don't really have much to contribute. We're only down to 6 effective, while Squad 2 is sort of got this amalgamation of 1 and 2. But 4 is the key, because he's the only guy with the SL kit that's still alive. So at this point, we're probably 20-ish effective. Pretty strong, but not really organized, because we only have 3 people on command net, and those people, they're sort of all over the place. Eventually, we will all get back together.
2-3, let's have you guys hold position. 4 is going to fall around behind you and then establish a hard point on the main road.
It takes a little while for Squad 4 to go ahead and do this, but they go ahead and move around our rear. After they lay down the second fob, they go ahead and maneuver all the way over to the northeast. They take over the intersection, they move past it, and at this point, we're not really taking much contact. Light sporadic fire comes in. It's not consistent. Squad 2 even at one point reports a single contact on a hill, but it's not really anything that we can do anything about, because A, I don't see it, and B, it's not even in my field of view. He reports it to his south, which is kind of on the other end of that hill, but it's not exactly something I can reliably shoot at. So I move around, I start telling my guys to get going. At this point, Squad 2 moves out, and we're holding position for 2 to move around our back. And once 2 gets pretty nice and situated, I start telling my elements to pull out from the westernmost element. And then I tell everyone else to pull out, and I'm the last one out of this position, while 2 continues to move across to the east, across the road. They're going to take the lane, the hilly lane on the very far east, on the east side of the road. Eventually, we move out. I order my last guy to pull out, and we're headed out that way. Squad Leader 4, who's in command now, who's acting platoon, he's got a pretty good idea of what he wants to happen.
2's going to take east, they're already over there. 3, you'll take the west with us.
We're pushing with Squad 4.
Basically, if
Straight
we don't
down.
contact this, because they're going to be coming over the ridge that we're on, and we're going to want a base of fire behind us, and then 2 teams up fighting up front.
Understood. Push 50 meters south of Squad 4.
This plan works out pretty well, and we're not contested as we move south through the valley, sort of. I guess as you call it, a valley here, this road. 2 ends up on the far east flank, and they've got the responsibility of providing base of fire, while we're the primary elements of the move. But 2 ends up pushing a little bit ahead here, and we are never really able to catch up with 4. We have this position here, but eventually we hit the intersection.
And then 2, when you get in there, you want to do the honors and place the fob since you'll be down there. 4, we'll take southwest security. 3, you want northwest security?
Northwest.
Can I do that as an FTL? Without the kit?
Oh, you're right. I might have to.
With Squad Lead 4 moving to secure the area, assigning 2 to secure the exfil area, and 4's on southwest security. We're on northwest security. I spread my guys out. I try to get the rifleman up top. Muff has sort of put himself over here on this far west side. We get the fob up, and there's a broadcast. We've strategically won the mission. Now we have to actually, finish it. Nothing's really happening for a few minutes. We we pretty much, we're just, socked in. We're looking. Squad 4 is sort of expanding out. We're not moving so much, but that's because we have this intersection. We're kind of holding really three directions at once. I'm sort of holding this northern approach here on the road. We've got Muff over on the right flank, or on the left flank, where he's looking west. And I've got 2 riflemen up top. 1 medic, really, but they're both riflemen, and we're about to get the enemy attack.
Man, 339 in them hills.
Fall back now. 3, reporting contact. 339, medic's position.
Now that we've got that contact reported, I sort of make sure my medic gets down in a safe space. I want him far away from contact as possible, because he's got to be able to, help people. At this point, S4 is moving, our Squad 4 is moving out a little bit more. S2 sends a buddy team up the east flank, and he's going to have an extra set of guns over there to help me. So I stop worrying about the far east and try to look at the road when I hear this report.
3, no immediate contact.
Still looking.
Contact west side. Down the hill towards the river.
My immediate thought is, hey, S4 has all the contact. Maybe we can relax a little bit. I start trying to look around. I order Muff to look west, and I look away from the top of the hill over here.
Contact west in the river. This may be a pincer. Shit. Fuck.
Okay, I think we just lost
And
the
that's
lead
it for
to the north.
me.
Yep, he's down.
At least my participation in this
Contact
operation.
on hill.
At the point when I'm out of the game, it's really pretty much done. According to the rules, Mill has to assault, and they've only got maybe 3 or 4 people making the assault up here against my Squad 3. Muff just takes the initiative and runs away. He sort of assumes command after I go, but they have no more comms with command. Squad 4 is basically doing an end run around because they know they're getting flanked in the woods, and eventually the 2 people come up out of the water. They come up out the water. It's a cool meme reference there, and they get popped as they try to assault the exfil site from the south, directly from the water. All in all, limited casualties on our side. Maybe about half the team, but it's not that bad. 17 deaths. It's pretty good considering, we started with, a pretty decent sized team, 4 full squads plus, command element. It ended up, being a pretty nice success. And I would hope we contributed something to it, even though apparently I didn't get any kills this round. Which was kind of vexing considering how many bullets I put on that other base, but it's whatever.